What if I told you there's a hidden switch in your brain that gets stronger every single time you push through something hard and do something that sucks? And this tiny spot, smaller than a popcorn kernel, is why some people stick to their goals while others quit after a week. Today, I'm exposing the real science of willpower and how to hack your mental grit on demand. Most people will blame their failure on laziness, but that's a lie. And worse, it's pointless self torture. Let's finally kill the phrase, I am just lazy. Because, spoiler alert, laziness is not real. It's not about motivation, it's not about discipline, and it's definitely not in your DNA. Because here's the truth, you're not broken or hopeless. You have just been gaslit by hustle culture into thinking willpower is something that you were born with. Time to unlearn that garbage starting today. So let me guess. Are you, like me, a professional starter? I get it. I'm in my late 40s and it's 2025, and I still have more half finished projects than actual accomplishments. I have a pile of notebooks full of ideas, courses that I've purchased but never finished. That one folder on my computer that's labeled game changers, which is really just digital graveyard at this point, abandoned ideas. And the worst part? Well, I know I'm capable. I know I have the skills. The ideas, I have them, they're overflowing. The opportunities are knocking. But just like clockwork, the cycle keeps repeating for me. Fireworks of motivation and then zip zero, nothing, silence. So if you've ever felt your stomach drop when somebody asks you, so how's that big project going? How's that YouTube channel? Or do you sometimes start the day with a perfect plan only to end up scrolling on TikTok or just wondering where the hours went? Worse, even, do you ever try to get disciplined only to then rebel against your own to do list? Well, then, here's the truth that you need to hear. Scattered is not failure, it's unfocused energy that is screaming for the right direction. I spent decades trying to fix myself until I realized the problem was not my work ethic, it was my brain's wiring. And what I discovered next basically changed so much for me. Here's what no one tells you about your brain and why everything you've been told about motivation is wrong. Are you ready for it? Well, your brain does not care about your dreams. Its number one job, and if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you, is to keep you alive. And your amygdala, which is your internal alarm system, anything new registers as a threat. Even writing a few sentences of that book that you want to write or starting that business. Therefore, that is why you get paralyzed at your desk, but have genius ideas in the shower. Does it happen to you? It happens to me all the time, the best ones. Here is where it actually gets a little bit worse. When you're stressed, and let's face it, we are all stressed, our prefrontal cortex, the CEO of decision making, shuts down. No planning, no impulse control, just panic. Your brain rewards anticipation. Did you know that? Not results. That's why new projects feel electrifying or so exciting. but finishing them feels like chewing cardboard. But there is a secret weapon. We're going to call this MCC. AMCC stands for anterior mid cingulate cortex. What is it? It's a tiny brain region, smaller than a popcorn kernel. And this is your persistence muscle. Have you heard of that thing before? Let's just keep calling it AMCC because I can't keep saying that word. So essentially, every time you push through a workout or resist hitting snooze and get up already in the morning, or choose work or working on your dreams and your goals over TikTok, your AMCC gets physically thicker. And best part, study shows that people with strong AMCCs actually live longer. So when you feel that internal war between I should and I can't, that is again not laziness. It's basically a neurological battle between safety and growth. And the best part, you can actually hack it. Here's what this means: the reason you procrastinate is not because you're lazy, it's because part of your brain is trying to protect you. Your resistance is not the problem, it's actually information, it's data. For years, I thought resistance meant that I was broken. Like when I'd sit down to work on my big, amazing idea, and then suddenly scrubbing the bathroom tiles felt urgent all of a sudden, right? So I would have to ask myself, why can't I just focus? What is happening here? And so now I basically see resistance as my body's GPS. Like for me, last week, for example, I opened my laptop to write the script. I've been procrastinating on this one. And immediately, all of a sudden, I need to message my friend about planning our beach day. So I had to stop myself and say, what is underneath this avoidance? Turns out that I was feeling like I was not good enough to have this whole ambition of building my business. That lazy urge to procrastinate, well, it was my brain screaming, hey, we need to address this fear first. We got to deal with this. So, yes, sometimes resistance is data, not defect. Sometimes the answer is just pushed through gently, and other times it's take a break. Sometimes it's this is not the right path, but the resistance always has information if you are willing to listen. When you're working on something aligned with your core values, number one, using your natural energy patterns, and you're actively strengthening your brain's tenacity center, your brain is going to stop fighting you so hard. The resistance is going to drop away because you're not just asking your brain to do something it's fundamentally, and you're actually building its capacity to handle difficulty. That's not discipline, that is alignment plus trained resistance. Like going to the gym and working these muscles, trained resistance. And here's how you start training that AMCC right now. Let's call this the micro suck. Now, here's a protocol. Every day, you are to do small things that suck before anything else. For example, you've heard of the cold shower. Anyway, you can do maybe 30 seconds cold water, but only at the end of your shower, or waking up 15 minutes earlier than you actually want to, or tackling that one task that you have been avoiding, doing a few push ups when you actually don't feel like doing them. Your AMCC doesn't care if the challenge is big or small, it just cares that you are choosing difficulty over ease when it actually matters. And as these challenges become easier, you progressively make them slightly harder. So that 15 minutes of waking up earlier becomes 20, then 25 and 30, and so forth. The research shows that meditation and exercise also can enhance your AMCC's connectivity to other brain networks, improving your overall self regulation. It's like having a secret superpower that gets stronger and stronger every single time you use it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, this makes sense, I guess, but how do I figure out what I'm aligned with? How do I know what my natural patterns are? And how do I build this AMCC strength without burning myself out? Well, great questions. And that brings us to a problem with most personality tests and assessments out there. Now, I'm a huge fan, but these basically usually tell you who you are, but they completely miss how you actually operate at your core. And worse, they might actually be weakening your tenacity center. In fact, I think personality tests might be keeping you stuck in ways you haven't even realized. They create these fixed identities that feel safe but are limiting. I'm an introvert, for example, not me. Or I'm a morning person. I'm creative but disorganized. Think about it. If you use these kind of excuses, they can become your prison, but your prison that's disguised as self awareness. So I'm aware that I'm a procrastinator, but then I become that, right? So when you label yourself as not a morning person, etc., you're actually giving your brain permission to avoid the very challenges that would strengthen your AMCC and make you more resilient overall. So here's what I want you to try this week. Pick one tiny micro suck challenge, something that's uncomfortable, something that's going to push you towards your dreams and your goals. Maybe it's even something tiny as making your bed before checking your phone. Maybe it's doing 5 jumping jacks before your morning coffee or drinking water before drinking coffee. Maybe it's sending that text you've been putting off. So just one little thing. And when you do it, notice how you feel afterward. Notice that tiny surge of, I did that. Notice that energy. That's your AMCC getting stronger. But here's the key: the next time you feel resistance to something, instead of pushing through or judging yourself, just get curious. Ask yourself, what is this resistance trying to tell me? And is this something that would strengthen my tenacity center or just drain my energy? Don't try to fix it. Don't try to overcome it. Just listen and choose consciously. Let me know in the comments, what's your micro suck challenge going to be? I am interested. And what patterns are you starting to notice about your resistance? Because if you're truly interested in changing, you will notice patterns. Here's the thing: you're not meant to actually figure this out alone. And sometimes just knowing that other people are on the same journey, actively training their brains for resilience, makes all the difference. So, in the next video, because this is going to be a series of 4, we're going to dive into why personality tests might be sabotaging your progress and weakening your AMCC, and what to look for instead. You have everything you need. You always have. You just need to learn how to work with yourself instead of against yourself. while actively building your brain's capacity for the challenges that matter. Your tenacity or persistence center is waiting to be activated. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one.